As I said in class, today's video is on rates and unit rates. So we saw an example of this on the bell work today. It was asking if you ran 8 kilometers in 24 minutes, what's the unit rate? And we found that you ran 3 minutes per kilometer, or a third of a kilometer per minute. Okay, so that's what a rate is. It's like a speed or like a price. Okay, points per game, those kind of things. It's any time that you have something per something else, like miles per hour, miles per gallon, price per pound. Okay, those are all different types of rates, and we'll talk about those more in just a minute. First, let's get some vocabulary. So this first one, rate, it's the ratio of two quantities with different units, miles and gallons, feet and seconds, okay? So sometimes like a distance and a time. Over here we're going to see apples and dollars, quantities for different units, okay? A unit rate is then the ratio comparison for one of those things. How fast am I driving in 1 hour? Or how far am I driving in 1 hour? Miles per hour. How much does it cost for one item? Okay, we break it down till it's over one thing. Per means to divide. So when we say miles per gallon, every time we hear that per, we're going to be dividing. And then an equivalent rate, it's like the equivalent ratio or the equivalent fraction. It's two or more rates that are equivalent to each other, which means that they have the same unit rate. They're going to simplify down to the same thing. So with our rates, let's look at a few examples. So first, right here, I have a double number line, is what this is called. So if we look at this and cover part of it up, I can see that this is a regular number line talking about miles, so that's a distance. I can go 110, 220, 330, 440 miles. Okay, somewhere in here, that would take you to about Salt Lake. This is a distance, how far we're traveling, okay? If I cover that one up and look at the bottom number line here, I can see hours, and it's just counting by twos. 2, 4, 6, 8. That's how long I'm going. So together, though, they make a rate. So if I look at this, okay, these are connected. So I go 110 miles in 2 hours. After 4 hours, I've gone 220 miles. After 6 hours, I've gone 330, and I've traveled 440 miles after 8 hours. Okay, these connect, they make a rate. So to write this as a rate, the first step in writing a rate is we want to write it as a ratio in fraction form. Okay, so we're not going to do the dots this time, we're going to write it as a fraction. And then we're just going to solve that division problem to simplify it to a unit rate. So on this one right here, our rate is 110 miles per hour. And I could see it like this, miles per hour. Okay, so this is 110 miles per 2 hours. I want to know how much it is for 1 hour. So I'm going to divide, because remember, a fraction tells me to divide. So to divide that, I'm going to take 2 into 110. 2 goes into 1 0 times. It goes into 11 twice. Sorry, 5 times, I mean. 5 times, which gives me 10. Subtract and I get a 1. Bring down that 0. Goes into 10 5 times. And so my answer is 55. 55 what? It's 55 miles per 1 hour, which we just say as 55 miles per hour. Okay. If I were to check one of these other ones, so let's say I took 440 over 8, I could divide that. And when I do, I should get 55 right here. It should be the same rate, 55 miles per hour. Okay, that's all we're doing is taking the top number, dividing it, and simplifying it all the way down till we're over 1. Let's see another example of that. So over here, we want to find the unit rate. So we want to know how many, so we have 4 apples for $1.20. Okay, would it make sense to put apples on top and say 4 apples per $1.20, and then divide and have apples per dollar? That doesn't really make sense. We probably want to know how much each apple costs. Okay, down here we give you a little hint that says money is always the numerator in a rate. So that's big words to say that money is always on top. Okay, sorry, the line's kind of going right through that. Money's going to go on top. So we're going to flip that around. The money goes on top, $1.20 over 4. Now I have dollars per apple. That makes more sense. Okay, I'll know how much it costs per apple. So now I'm going to divide this. I have 4 going into $1.20. Okay, I already have a whole number out in front, so I don't need to move my decimal. Does 4 go into 1? Nope. I bring my decimal straight up. 4 does go into 12. It goes 3 times. It gets me exactly 12. I subtract. I get a 0. I bring down a 0. 4 goes into 0 times. Okay, and I'm done. So I know that it's going to cost 30 cents, because that's what that means. 30 cents per apple. Okay, you could write per apple, you can do the little slash. 30 cents per apple. And if I double checked, I could do 4 apples at 30 cents. If I multiply 4 by 30, I'm going to get $1.20. Okay, on this next one, points per game. Okay, this is something that athletes talk about a lot. So decide the rate if these are equivalent. So we want to know if 126 points per game, or for every 3 games, sorry, is the same as saying 210 points for every 5 games. So we're going to look and see if these end up being equivalent. So to figure this out, we're going to do points per game. So points goes on top, points per, I'm going to divide, game, I've got 3 games, and I'm going to do that division. So I have 3 dividing 126, 3 goes into 12 4 times, bring down that 6, 3 goes into 6 twice, okay, and I can see I'm finished. So 42 points per game, we could write that out here, so 42 points per game. Now let's look at this one, 210 points per 5 games. So I'm going to do 5 dividing into 210. 5 doesn't go into 2, but it goes into 21 4 times, which gives me 20. Subtract, I get 1, bring down that 0. 5 goes into 10 twice. Okay. So I also see that I have 42 points per game on that one. It is important to write our units so people know what we're talking about. Points per game. Okay, so are these equivalent? Yes, they're the same rate. So that means that if this was one person and they were consistent, after 3 games they'd have 126 points. After 5 games, they'd have 210, and if they're scoring 42 points per game, we could find out how much they're going to make in the 6th game. You would just add 42 points, so they would have, we can even do that, plus 1. So after 6 games, if they're scoring 42 points per game, at 6 games they should score about, they should have a total of 252 points after 6 games. That would be all added up together. Okay, it's not that many in one game, because it's 42 points each game. Okay, hopefully these are making sense. Let's practice a few more. Down here, so $60 earned in 4 hours. So remember, money always goes on top. Have you ever heard somebody say that they make, like $10 an hour or $8 an hour? Okay, that's what we're looking at here. We want to see how much this person makes per hour. So money goes on top, $60 per 4 hours. Okay, if I divide that, 4 goes into 60, 4 goes into 6 once, 4 goes into 25 times. So I know it goes in 15 times, so $15 per 1 hour, or $15 per hour is how you can write that. Okay, on this next one, 110 miles in 2 hours. Okay, we saw that up above, 110 miles per 2 hours. I should write miles, sorry. Okay, 110 divided by 2. went into 11 twice, which gives, or sorry, 5 times. I keep doing that. 10 times, which gives me 1. 2 goes into 10 5 times, which gives me another 10. I'm out of space, but we can see it's going to be 55 miles per hour. And on this last one, we want to know cups per serving, so we're going to do 14 cups per 7 servings. Okay, and if I simplify that, 14 divided by 7 is 2 cups per serving. Okay, so that's what you're going to do on these. So remember to put the money on top, and you're going to write your unit rates for these 3. Okay, good luck with that, and I'll see you in class.